Angified. I started Angified Presents.
We share the love of music.
It has been medicine and therapy. Nothing else worked.
It has saved many of us with mental health. We need to open our eyes.
Hurt people hurt people.
We ask that you listen, comprehend, and relate with your ears.
Form that heart of unity and one.
We share on this stage.
Statistics, feelings.
And ourselves.
We stand with the belief to be you, to be heard, and to be original.
We all may be different, with opinions and beliefs.
At the end of the day, we are all brothers and sisters.
We are family.
We ask that you join us in a magical journey with artists from around the world. Open your minds, let in the love,
and listen with your hearts.
We all want a better tomorrow. Be one.
Communicate and look out for one another. And then, and only then, will you find the world.
We will find peace in all the world.
You'll find the world. And you will find in this shining world. He was among us in every boy and girl. Many have been broken, red hearts turn black. Love will melt the ice and turn it back, and you will find the world. You will find the world. You will find the world. Together we can grow a better place with love in us all. And you will find together we can save it all. And you will find, and you will find a place called home, where everyone is free to roam. A better place, a whole new world for our children's futures. world through different eyes. Realize it's all fairy tales and blue skies. Everyone is wearing a mask in disguise, covering up their issues with betrayals and lies. As we wish we could see through our childhood eyes. I ask you, I ask you, are you gonna spread love or hate? Are you gonna spread that love? Are you gonna spread love or hate? Are you gonna spread love or hate? Everything we do and everything we're taught, I guess we all had bigger problems than the one we saw. The battles that were won and the fights that were fought, we never absorbed all the hate and distraught. Spread that love, so spread that love. And let each other in, or feed in temptation and ultimate sin, to learn what we didn't learn right from the start, because nowhere where was place in my heart for hate. As we wish you could see through our childhood eyes once again, I ask you, spread love, spread love or hate. Love, spread love or hate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome as Angified presents. You know who he is, everyone. He is Root Beer 1038. We're welcoming you to check him out. Hi, everyone. How are you? Hi, Root Beer. Welcome. Did we shake the soda pop? You can find him, everyone, on SoundCloud.com as well, _soda-pop-842697835. We're going to share that again in a little while. But there he is, the man, the mystery. How are you?
Okay, that was an awesome intro. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
So I have to ask, like, where do you hail from? Okay, like, where exactly was your dad's nutsack, you know, like filled with all these great music vibes and gems and songs and the ability and gifts to do what you do? Because you do a multitude of different things. You're so fascinating.
Well, my dad, he's a failed he's a composer, basically. He likes strict music theory. And like I said, like I told you before, he made that song that Red Bones got famous for, their one-hit wonder, "Come and Get Your Love." Well, he sold that for like $300, and then when it hit the top charts, he was really pissed, and he never really got anywhere with his music, you know. Although he's really good at playing the piano and stuff and composing, he did not encourage me to listen to music as a kid. And so I have a really distorted relationship with music, where I didn't listen to my first, like, of course, you know, like Little Mermaid, all those soundtracks I've heard when I was growing up, but I didn't get my first music to listen to for my own self until I was like 13 years old. And then my mom gave me Insane Clown Posse and a Metallica CD.
Oh,
So so
mom.
so I listened.
Go.
Yeah, so I never really grew up with my mom much. She was in prison, and then my dad would always tell me like, "Oh, she's bad" and stuff. But I got to meet her later in life, like I said, around 13, and me and her are like best friends now and stuff. So I mean, yeah, and then when I started doing music about 6 years ago, um, I was just using a Generation One, like old ass Walkman tape recorder, and I had to splice a headphone jack into the tape to play it through my
Nice.
speaker, and I had a cell phone that my ex gave me, and I downloaded this app called Smuley, which is the biggest karaoke app. I really got started on there, and I was just ranting and raving, and people liked it enough to invest in me and send me equipment, send me keyboards, musical instruments, microphones like this microphone here I'm using. I didn't buy that. That's one of my fans did that. And so I've just been, so that started it. And then my dad kind of helped me refine it a little bit. Cause now since I was doing music, he would say, he'd give me some good tips and stuff about, staying on key or whatever, or like, like just different music theory things,
Yeah.
time signatures was a big thing of mine. I couldn't really get down because I never grew up like marching to the band and the beat where like a lot of these other artists had parents that were like, oh, you were so encouraging and stuff like that. Like, no, my dad actually used to get pretty damn mad if he caught me listening to the radio in the car and shit without his permission and shit. Like I don't know why, but that's the way I grew up. So
Do you think it had to do with influences?
I think it was his bitterness of not being successful at it and resentful towards the music industry.
Did you have friends that, you'd hang out with, like high school or in your early 20s, maybe, that really enjoyed doing music with, maybe just going back and forth or jamming?
No, I just listening to music. I liked in high school. I really liked Korn and Disturbed, and I liked Eminem, and sometimes, and then I don't know, like to listen to older songs. I don't like new country really so much, but like old country to me is like Johnny Cash and stuff was really, really nice. And so, I mean, and then I've always thought like listening to a lot of popular songs throughout high school, I said, man, these lyrics are really stupid. I mean, they're saying stuff that's like Kanye West, for example. I mean, I really don't like the guy at all. His attitude is shitty. It's really shitty. I mean, he thinks he's God. And to be honest, he can't sing worth of shit without like $1 million in fucking sound equipment. So,
Well, there's a lot of artists like that because some artists more so are lyricists or writers.
Right.
But they have that flow because it's them. So they have what's inside in the inside coming out.
Well, I was watching a video one time with Kanye West and his shit got disconnected while he was singing. And half the people walked out. He was not good. I mean, and to be like considered like I'm God and everything, to be like chauvinistic like that, and then to be, not all that. That's why I kind of like set up my equipment to where the way it sounds when I'm recording is it's playing through the playback. It's monitoring. I almost never use headphones because my dad taught me that the natural sound doesn't stop at your ears, in that you really can't tone into overtones or precision until you know how you sound live, right? And so that's what I've been trying my best to do is the way it sounds is the way I just not very much post-production, And the better you get at that, then the better you get at using the things Kanye West uses, like those auto tuners and stuff like that. Then it becomes more refined. Where, you know, and the best thing advice he ever gave me was Billy Joel said it, and he said, record, you know, stop, rest, listen, record, and that's how you get better. And so I mean that's what I've been doing. And
And don't only listen to it in one place. Listen to it in your computer. Listen to it in your bedroom. Listen to it on the speakers in your living room. Listen to it in your car.
Right.
Listen to it in multiple places.
Listen to your recording the second you get up in the morning before your brain has got the DMT out and shit, you know? I mean, that really forcing yourself to listen to yourself after you sleep is probably the most progress that I've had in my life, where like I'll be up 3-4 days making music, whatever, you know, and then I'm like, man, that was cool as shit. But then I'll have a nice sleep and I'll wake up. The first thing I'll do is I'll play back that song, right? And then I'll say, wow, these are the parts that I can really improve on, you know? Right. And it's you know, because music is supposed to be a template where you smack somebody in the face with your emotions.
Yeah.
And regardless of how they feel about you, it's supposed to invoke a reaction, really.
Yeah.
And so a lot of my lyrics are crazy, but but it gets them thinking, I guess. And it's been working for me so far. I'm a good writer.
It's crazy. It's fun. It's experimental.
Yeah, very experimental. I mean, because it's hard taking lessons from my dad because he's not a really great teacher. But I pick up on some of the things that he really wants to get me to get. But I don't want to be that conventional. I don't want to be thought of as a Radiohead guy. You know, like, I mean, to be honest, I most radio stations, I just can't really listen to them that long because I don't understand this Fetty Wap and all this other kind of slang and stuff. I mean, and I'm from San Bernardino, and I live in the ghetto, and I still don't understand that because, I mean, and a lot of people don't. I mean, a lot of people I talk to them, and I'll say like the word, you know, condescending or something, and they'll be like, "What'd you call me?" You know,
right.
like they don't. But so I have a very extensive knowledge of the English language, that the way it is in the Oxford Dictionary.
That happened with me one time, and I called somebody a Homo sapien.
I'm not gay.
Yeah. Thinking I called them all something bad. No, you're a human. I respect that, Root Beer, that you just want to be yourself.
Yeah, well, yeah, I do. I mean, it's more about making friends that have similar interests.
Mm-hmm.
The way I think of it is I'm not in a rush to get famous, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or recognition. I'm in a tight spot. I'm dead flat broke. Yeah, sure, it would be great if I got a lucky break. And that's why I make my music the way it is. It's because, I mean, if somebody has the resources like my fans have had in the past, just one person I know that is in the right place that will listen to my music and take a chance on me, because I focus on the art, and I try to fill a void that I see in society of the lack of, well, I call it the political correctness. It is really hampering down. So I do a lot of history study and stuff. And so the way I see the past 100 years was that racism was real bad, right? Then there was like 20, 30 years where it was the Black people's turn to redefine the culture of music and stuff like that. Then it was 20 more years of racism, you know, KKK, whatever, and 60s, the civil rights. But then shortly after that, then you get comedians like Red Fox, you know, and then shows like my favorite show, Sanford and Son. I mean, I love that that show is great. And they were taking the word, the N word, and they were not they wore it on their sleeve. You know, they would use the word as, yeah, okay, just like I'm Native American, but we never call ourselves Native Americans. That's a white people term. You all called us Indians, right? So that's what we are. We consider ourselves Indian because that's what you called us, right? And so, I mean, it's kind of like the political correctness is hampering down like great minds. Like George Carlin would not exist in today's world, you know. I mean, and that's
Andrew
when
Dice Clay wouldn't exist in this world.
I love that guy too. And the thing is, racism, people become more tolerant of each other when there is a comedic face there to exploit these, because there's no joke without a victim. Okay, that's just the plain. You can't be funny if somebody's not getting hurt, and that's why I noticed a lot of these, like I call them pseudo comedians today. They're like, oh, so I walk in your bar and blah blah blah, and then they're like, oh, you're not woke and whatever, you know. And to me, that's not artistic, and it's not addressing a need of society, and it's just kind of like a lot of the songs on the radio I hear, just like background music, like background sound that doesn't really mean anything. You know?
I think when I look at racism, it actually makes me sick because I'm going to judge you. Either you're an asshole or you're not an asshole. That's it. We're all human. Like, I don't care if you're green, purple, you know what I mean? Orange, you know?
Yeah, me neither. You know, take it from an Indian. I mean, I don't understand it, racism. So
yeah, there's a lot of people that don't understand it, especially in other countries too.
But I do know how to make fun of it. I do know how to bring it out into light to where that there's a chance for people to either laugh it off and say, hey, you know what? I don't like a lot of this mentality today is people think they're owed respect, right? That's like, okay, my philosophy growing up was completely different. You know, I consider myself a dumpster baby. I was always poor, you know, and whatever. So when I hear people that's entitled to think that they are owed respect without even giving common courtesy to other people, and those are like a main target of my people that I make fun of in my songs. You know, like MC Fat Retard, like a lot of like a lot of these artists. They say, oh, I'm the best, and they don't understand that there is no such thing as the best in music. That you cannot be the best because it's like, okay, if you only do one style of art of music, it's like using monochromatic painting. It sure is beautiful, but it's all tints of blue. You know, so art can be more refined by including more colors, right? And so seeing different perspectives, making fun of, pretending you are the opposition, defending their fucking plight, you know, see both sides of the story.
A lot of times we don't do that.
Because the truth is, truth does not exist at all. It is a subjective. It's there's facts. You could say facts, but facts have to have statistics and record keeping. That's great. But as soon as you put in an empirical truth in it, it will immediately have an enemy and a fan and somebody that is undecided. I mean, regardless of, like Donald Trump, it takes advantage of that so much that it's really becoming an issue for our nation. Because it's always been there, but he's the first president to actually wiggle that fiber, you know, and just like he says, like Hitler, if you say it enough times, people will believe you, and that's how he does it. And I'm not saying he's better or worse than the Democrats. I'm not trying to get political here. I'm just trying to tell you I try to do what Donald Trump does in my music a little bit, right? By wiggling that fiber, that thing you don't want to say, that you always think in your head, or like, man, that guy's an asshole, or fuck Kanye West, that egotistical bastard. You know, I'll say that stuff in my songs and stuff, and people like it, I guess. So
Because people like to hear other people's opinions, because, you know, everybody doesn't have to agree on something,
absolutely.
you know, and, you know, it's okay to agree to disagree, you know, but at the end of the day, you should respect everybody for them them being able to tell their, you know, their part of their side of the pancake, shall we say.
Right, yeah. Closed mouths don't get fed, you know.
That's right.
And
that's right.
And you got to get in where you fit in.
Yes.
So,
I like that one. I might have to use that one down the line. So tell me about this MC Fat Retard.
Okay, yeah. So that is an accumulation of a whole bunch of characters I met over the 6 years I've been recording. And they'll be posting stuff like, check out this banger, and they'll be like, oh, I'm the best, and stuff like that. And then you take a look at them, and they're like they work at McDonald's. They're just like the rest of us. They're overweight, but in their music and stuff, all their lyrics is, I'm better than you, I'm untouchable, right? You'll never be as good as me. That's a lot of Kanye West songs are just like that. You nigga, you never touch me. You know, like, why would somebody subject themselves to constantly being belittled? And it's like, okay, I get the idea of, oh, I want to be like him, right? But isn't it better to like strategize as a network of friends, you know? And when it does work out, things, at least you're going to play a role that's needed, I guess, or you're wanted. You're not injecting yourself into a situation where nobody asks for your opinion, you know? And so like the best artists, in my opinion, are the ones that would be making music if they never had a good, like a break, like Lady Gaga is great, you know? Like Ozzy Osbourne, but fantastic, you know? Ozzy for president, that in the presentation.
That's right.
I mean, but then there's other artists that, like, if they never got that one little break, then they would have broken up. They would not have been making music anymore, you know? And that to me shows a lot in somebody's ability to insult other people.
Well,
I mean, insulting
I think
people
music is born in people.
Right.
You either have the music gift or you don't. And many artists, and I know, like you were saying, that you really didn't grow up with much music or influences that way. Did you grow up drawing or with art?
Not really, but I'm a good artist though.
But you like it, you enjoy it.
Yeah, it's just expensive. It's expensive hobby, you know. And so the one time I painted something was I was 15 years old, and I was in middle school, and they had the national duck stamp competition, right? So I painted this duck. I mean, it's a white-breasted waterfowl. It's more of a goose, kind of like swan. I painted it. It took me 2 weeks to do. And unlike everybody else's paintings the bird was flying majestic with all the sun and shit, I wasn't all about that. I really reflected my own shit onto the bird.
Nice.
What do you call it? I morphologized myself onto this bird. So I put the bird on a completely black water. The water was black, and like twilight, like just at twilight when the sun's barely raising up, you know, and this bird is just halfway lit up, you know, and it's got the shadow on it and everything like that. And he's all cold. He's cold looking, you know, and he's got just like, anyways, I got third place in the competition, and I got on the cover of a magazine called Sprig Tales. And yeah, and they took my picture, and I was in the little newspaper for a day or two. So that was cool. I loved doing the art, but if I wasn't in school and I wouldn't have those supplies, it would have been very challenging to even conceive of doing something like that. So I understand that music is one of the things where today, and with the technology, you can be poor and you can make music. And I'm a good example of that. I got $0 in my bank account, 0. But it doesn't stop me from having fun and making music. I mean, I've been taking care of my dying grandma for the past 10 years. I've hardly worked. I'm 31 years old. I've only had a few jobs, but I'm
You're
struggling.
a survivor.
Yeah, I mean, try, and no matter how bad it gets, I know it can always get worse.
That's right.
You know, and a good philosophy to live by is expect the worst, and everything else kind of just is uphill from there. I know that it sounds bad, but there is beauty in pessimism and stoicism. I'm a very stoic person. Things don't really faze me, you know, very like other people do. But a lot of people take that word into the modern Freudian. He's stoic. Oh, he's an asshole. No, I'm talking about the original, like Xenos. You know, Marcus Aurelius, kind of like, where you don't have a control over the things that happen in your life. Most of the things you have no control over, right? But you do have control over of how you react to those things. And if somebody else can make you upset, that's something that says something about yourself, not the other person. Yeah, you know, physical harm's different, right? That's never okay. And that's why I teach self-defense and stuff. But there's nothing wrong with insulting somebody. If somebody can't take an insult and they lose their composure, they weren't fit to be in society anyways, in my opinion. That is the natural selection of our social hierarchy, you know?
I could see yours, but I could see, you know, especially younger kids. I know you had it rough. There's some kids that have it rough nowadays. You know, parents aren't really there for them. They're pretty much raising themselves, you know, or siblings or cousins. Somebody else is raising them.
Yeah, they're poor bastards, you know. And if you say that to these kids nowadays, and they get all upset, like, "Oh, I'm the greatest," you know.
Well, but then you got those kids that are already so heartbroken from their home life that they, you know, go to school, they get bullied.
Yeah, I don't ever like.
And then they've got nowhere to turn.
That's true.
You know, they don't know how to defend themselves because everything that, you know, they've tried in sense of defending themselves, they ended up still in a pickle.
Right. And I think stoicism is in a lot of ways could help those kids get through the hard times. I mean, it's you know, the story of Xenos is he was a merchant, and he had almost all of his things that he was selling. He took a chance and sent them on a ship overseas to a new market, you know, and a storm happened and he lost everything. And he didn't let that determine how the way he behaved against his other people around him. He didn't take it out on them and stuff. He accepted the key principles of it is not being like an emotional mask of the world. It's to accept things, right? It's the knowledge to know what you have control over and what you don't. And that's actually kind of like makes the basis of AA. AA is built on Xenos's stoicism. So that's an interesting fact that most people don't know. So
that was really cool. Thank you. I didn't know that.
And so MC Fat Retard is I'm going to insult you, right?
All right.
Right. And if you're listening to it, you're probably going to like it because it's going to hit home, but it's obviously comedic, you know, and I don't think I'm the best or anything like that. I never said that in the song. I'm just saying, you know, you're just a fat retard.
Well, let's go ahead. Let's give it a listen, shall we?
Play
All right. Yay. We are listening to Root Beer 1038 here. You guys can go ahead. You can find him on BandLab today, Root Beer 1038. You can also check him out on soundcloud.com/soda-pop-842697835. You guys better go ahead, like, share, and subscribe. You know it. Let's go ahead. Let's check it out now. MC Fat Retard. Explicit content, everyone. So, you know, if you can't handle it, put on your earmuffs.
Root beer. I don't need a crew to tell me how it do. I don't need a group. I'm not like you. I climb on top of a police car screaming fuck you, and I don't give a fuck. I don't need to be surrounded by a bunch of dudes like you, Susie Q's, scared of the dark, wearing reds and blues. I say fuck your crew, and to all your affiliates, fuck you too. Bitch, I'm Spartacus, I'm a bad omen. You look confused. Okay, attention, breaking news. Zip them lips or I'll slap you. Like I'm a teacher and you're the kid with Tourette's. Talk shit now, bitch. Look like you haven't learned your lesson yet. Slap your mother's tits. Maybe then you'll talk to me with some damn respect. Kid, you got a shit-eating grin on your face, looking like Norman Bates. Smelling a pussy fill the air as I lament. I'm a fucking animal, don't you ever forget. And something needs to be addressed. Your rhymes aren't that great, and no, I'm not impressed. You're probably 200 pounds overweight, a fat retard with a pen who thinks he's blessed. You got no skills, you got no gills, you got dick. You're the last fucking pick in the draft of life, a turd with his skin. Bring all your homies, let the ass whooping commence. I kick your little ringleader over a picket fence, then I snatch you up and hang you like my pets. I don't live with any regrets. I flow like water, so what you wanna do is line up for the full slaughter. Lay on your back like an otter. Damn right, Rupert's got a top hat on. Tires start to spark, flying down, maxed out down the freeway. Skirt, skirt, no work, I ran the bitch over. Yeah. Root beer up in this bitch.
Oh, hell yeah. You were going ahead and you were just like, I don't want to hear it no more. Now I'm letting it out.
Yeah, basically, you know. And you know, I do like top hats. I got the original Mad Hatter top hat from the 60s here.
How cool.
You know, I had to, well, I don't want to say it on the thing, but it was a mission to get it. Okay, George Lucas is, I had to take it. It was like a 7-month operation to get this hat. And
oh my goodness.
I had to be like a landscaper at his ranch up here and shit. And like, I had to fake a bee sting in that thing when he wasn't. And then I had to swap out the hat with the replica, and
oh my goodness!
And it was,
you did not.
No, I swear to God, George Lucas has this ranch up here. Did
you really fake getting stung by a bee?
No, I actually got stung by a bee. But
okay.
The only reason I got stung was because I could use it as an excuse to get inside the house. Well, anyways, that's not important. You might want to edit that part out. Okay, I don't want George Lucas coming after me and breaking my legs.
Oh, and so is that where the titty inspector came from?
No.
Oh,
no.
We gotta tell me more about this one.
The titty,
because it sounds like he needs a titty inspector. Then he'll know it's a replica.
Yeah. I'll show you the hat. I mean, it's a it's a pretty I'm proud of the hat. It's got it's like this is like
That's awesome.
like the original, and it's got the Mad Hatter logo and the production company's logo in here. It says Mad,
very cool.
and so I mean, it's way too big for my head. I mean, whoever wore this hat during the thing had a big ass head. See, look at that, like it's way too big. I'm not even sure if I'm wearing it right, but it's like so yeah, it's the real deal. Kind of got deformed over the years. It kind of like my dad comes in here and fucking moves my shit all the time. So yeah.
Parents still just don't understand, in the words of DJ Jesse Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Okay, so you edit that part out about George Lucas's ranch. I don't want to get no backlash for that, okay?
Okay. Tell me about the titty inspector.
Okay, so the titty inspector is okay, so all right. A lot of these guys and stuff that they're misogynistic, whatever, misogynistic. I mean, they're like womanizers and shit. And this is my attempt to play that card too. Like, show me your titties,
Right.
But I'm not being like, I'm not like saying like you're a hoe, show me your titties and be disrespectful. I'm just saying like, hey, show me your titties and let me appreciate them.
What's really funny is many women show their titties, their cleavage, even like in nowadays. So it
Right.
should be more like, show me your nipples.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I hear a sequel coming out.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with them sending me. I get a lot of titty pics in my Gmail.
There you go.
That's
So
always-
you are the ultimate titty inspector.
Well, I'm the official designated band lab titty inspector.
Nice.
It's official because the song I kind of just say it like you can go ahead and play it, and it's self-explanatory.
All right, we'll check it out.
I'll go ahead and pause my mic.
Yeah. Here we go, everyone. You're hearing it first here on Angified. We are listening to at Root Beer 1038. And here comes the titty inspector.
Oh yeah, funk baby, that's a funk. Bitches love my magic lamp. They dress my weenie as a genie. Jacks got the passport stamp. I spend many hours exploring her curves and other genies can't. It's an expedition, an ancient average tramp. Indiana Jones, soon to be stressed, testing her structure. And if she's married, and if she ain't up to code, call the paramedics in case her reactor explodes. You already know all the hotties in the domicile call me Detective Clouseau. I'm inspecting all their bodies. I'm inspecting all their bodies. Blues Clues, all the cues that are naughty. Burning the midnight oil, 24/7, non-stop around the clock. I'm burning oil like a Saudi. Bitches pile in the back of your cocks, Maserati. Yeah, in the back of your cocks, Maserati. It's a party. Can we get some more Bacardi in here? All the hotties call me Detective Clouseau. I'm inspecting all their bodies, inspecting all their bodies, inspecting all their bodies. Root beer.
The titty inspector.
Yeah.
Here, you guys go ahead, like, share, and subscribe. Oh, that was
I'm
awesome.
Detective Clouseau, you know. And so that's like
That's awesome. Where did you come up for like the inspiration to write?
I don't know.
Was it maybe like poetry in school?
No, I mean, I was always a great writer. But I found
what you
out that,
felt.
but I found out when I was doing music, I'm also really good at improvising and freestyling, but in a way that's actually structured. You hear the structure in it. Or, I mean, there is definitely good structure, I think.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
because it you know, it builds up. It kind of builds up anticipation. Like, why is he saying that? And then all of a sudden, like, yeah, okay, I'm Detective Clouseau. Like,
Right.
if she's not, if she's married and she's not up to code.
I'm gonna be your husband's worst nightmare.
That's a big thing. Like, I love this one guy on YouTube called Tyrone. You know, he goes, I'm gonna fuck your wife. That's what to me is hilarious. And so like that kind of was like, you know, my Tyrone. Yeah.
Right. That's awesome. And let me ask, how about the song Even If I Got to Borrow?
Like I said, I'm a poor boy. And so that's basically what that is I survive even if it means I gotta borrow. And pretty much I've been living off of well, it's not borrowed, it's given to me by my fans and friends, but to me it's borrowing because the more that they show that they care, the more I work at my craft. And this was a prime example of me practicing proper singing techniques, you know, that my dad has kind of been telling me about, like arpeggiation, you know, melismas, you got fugo, I think he called it fugo, where it's like you stay in the key, but you build up an octave to build up like a climax to the end of your stanzas or whatever. And so I practiced all of that. I recorded it in one take. I didn't rehearse it, but that was just me trying to practice a good form of singing and a different style of than rap and stuff like that. Because, you know, I love to do, the way I like to use my music is if there's a soundtrack, it don't matter what it is. Could be, you know, could be classical, could be any kind of form of music that goes on. I feel like I could be a good mediator for that, to be a lyricist on, you know? And so this one was a friend of mine in BandLab sent it to me. He's 13 years old and he composed, he made the soundtrack and I was really impressed. So I went out of my way to show him that I appreciated his talent. So that one was that one. And his name is RGB Ruby, I think.
That is beautiful.
And so yeah, he loves
That's
it.
beautiful of you.
Yeah. So
yes. It looks like at agent_x_octo_5.
Yeah.
RWBY.
He changes his name all the time, and then he's 13. So I mean,
yeah.
I mean, he makes a lot of good. He's
still finding himself.
The music theory in it is solid too. I mean, he plays a real structured composition, and it goes well together. And it almost sounds professional. So you can go ahead and play that.
All right, let's do it. Even if I got borrowed. I think even if I got borrowed, I'd have problems. Check this out. Make sure you guys go ahead, like, share, and subscribe.
They call me Snackula, Spectacular. I hope when I've grown older, I won't have to look over my shoulder. There's ones I wish I found if I wanted to forgive someone. Looking at life through my periscope, submerged in a sea of myself doubt. I don't want to live my life on the edge of tomorrow. I could have given in, given up through the years of constant sorrow. But I survive, even if it means I gotta borrow. Even if I gotta borrow. Even if I gotta borrow.
Oh, that was awesome.
Like this?
I was grooving to that one.
Yeah.
You both did a fantastic job on that.
Yeah, I was really impressed by him, and he really liked it. He added it to his favorite list, and I didn't know it had that many listens. I hardly pay attention to my stuff. I mean, I'm not really a good promoter, and I'm actually really happy that I got the chance to do this interview because I know that's something I could work on, and I'm just eager to meet fellow musicians. I know your group is huge, and I've watched your shows all the time, and so it's an honor for me to be here and stuff. And
to have you
and bring a little something different. I mean, I don't want to say some of your guests that I've seen. Warfest. I mean, they're interesting, but they're just kind of like straight edge, kind of like, I don't know. I mean, and I don't know. I don't feel so much baby as them sometimes. I feel like I'm the raw. I'm just gonna throw it at you raw. The sound is how. I mean, I really, like I said in the song, I really don't know. I can't say any empirical truths about anything. I don't know the meaning of life. I could have given in through all the years of constant sorrow. I mean, I've always been
great song.
And I'm not too proud to borrow, and that has a lot to do with not being. Well, pride comes before the fall, and I think that's a true statement. And sometimes you need to borrow. And borrowing can be time. Somebody invests their time in just listening to my music, like all the people that watch the show, and I want to thank you each and every one of them. And because, I don't make music for myself. I really don't. I just try to make people laugh, think, provoke them. Touch their. I know that a lot of people think that they got this concept of the sound. Oh, that's the sound, right? and I mean, to me, the sound. Yeah, sure, you could be the sound, but I mean, that's only gonna get you so many listeners because they're gonna want to put you in a genre of rapper or fucking rock star. How about I like consider myself rather a lyricist and a storyteller, and I don't want to make anybody feel worse than they did before they listened to my music.
Right.
So
you want to change worlds with one smile at a time, even if it's for 2 seconds.
Right. Yeah.
Make a difference in their day.
Yeah, and a lot of people, one time, Down With the Function. I don't know if that's the next one you're gonna play, but
no,
that one that one somebody sent me a message and said they listened to that song and then they no longer felt suicidal, and they gifted me like $600 on BandLab. Just and I was really, I mean, he was 14 years old, and he was in India, and this kid in India, I mean, I was like bawling. I was like, damn, dude, I guess they got it pretty bad over there. I mean, with so many people, and I got no right to complain about my situation. And these people, I mean, this kid was so stressed over his high school exams, right? That if he would have not made as much, if he didn't get the grade he wanted, it would affect his whole entire life. And like it's like completely opposite of American kids. Half of them drop out and think they're going to be Jeff Bezos or something. But this kid puts in work, and he makes music, and he actually made a few tracks for me too, that guy. And we're still friends, and I haven't talked to him since the exams, but he listened to that song and it relieved his stress that much, where he felt like, he gave me money. So that was a good experience. So
yeah. Oh, we're going to play that one in a little bit, but I first want to ask about smoking out of aluminum cans.
Oh, that one is okay. That one is unique because it's got the Pink Floyd vibe. The soundtrack is a Pink Floyd track, kind of, from my friend Alishka. She is Chechen, and she made it. And I joined it. This was also me practicing a different style of singing, which I'm not. I usually don't sing like this, and there's no embellishments on it and stuff. So I tried my hardest to mix in with the music. And like I said, when I record, I have my voice playing back the speakers without my headphones on. So
nice.
so that kind of added on to the ethereal effect of it picking up the sound twice, and that you'll hear that in that song. I was kind of working on new ways of cadencing, like which synonym I would stretch longer than the other. Consonants, like hard P's, soft S's. I was practicing that kind of stuff. So and
pronunciation is something very big. Pronunciation and syllables.
Pronunciation, and is homophobe. It's called
homophones.
Homophones, yeah, homophones. Homophone.
What'd you call me? No. That was why we were smoking out of aluminum cans.
So yeah, in the song's material is just it's me just reflecting on trying to relate on it's trying to present myself to be on a relatable level of other people and stuff, because smoking. I used to smoke weed out of aluminum cans, and I didn't know that was bad for you until later. But
I think everything's bad for us nowadays.
I know, I know it. But yeah, you're right. And there's, so that's basically. And then I tried at the end of the song. That's my last lyric is, for those who struggle with morality, and for those like me. So I do struggle with morality, because it's hard to know what's right. What actions you do today are going to impact somebody else's life tomorrow. And so the best thing you could do in life is just be courteous. That doesn't mean you owe anybody respect. I mean, you could be disrespectful and courteous at the same time. It's giving other people a space to exist, to struggle, to, and camaraderie. It's like me it's trying to be relatable. That's what that song is about. And so
let's check it out.
Yeah.
Yay! Thank you so much for coming and sharing your gift with us, Root Beer.
Oh no, thank you. I mean, I'm glad that you like it.
Absolutely. All right, let's check this out, shall we? We're going to go ahead and listen to an original remastered Smoking Out of Aluminum Cans. In his description, he says, "Hey friends of BandLab, I love you. I took the time to go into this recording and spend time in post-production because my fans deserve the best. Remastered Original by Root Beer 1038. Please follow me for more content." As you can see, this was the name he was getting at, Eliska, at PROD_by_Eliska. Here we go with Smoking Out of Aluminum Cans.
No one like the best. I'm blinded by the curse. They've come a long way, climbing high above the world. Everybody put your mind at rest. You can't deny right now. I remember smoking out of aluminum cans. Chemicals for my taste. Solids, liquids, gas, switching to my alter ego. Hit the switch, I pump it past. I choke and call when my eye finally meets the paper. The boundaries change for breaks free from the tortures of the norm. Breaks free from the tortures of the norm. Like an earthquake swarm. Like an earthquake swarm. Oh, I don't know who I am anymore. Life is such a bore. Talking to you is such a chore. To those that drew the short straw in life, those who struggle with morality, for those like me.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. It's one of my favorite.
You
It's one of my.
used
It's one of my
vocal and
personal
stuff
favorites.
in there.
Yeah. So that's like the thing is like the dichotomy of the song is to say yeah, I got my chemical dependencies. I struggle with choosing the right choices in life. I also chase vanity because I feel like people need to hear my music, so I'm not exempt from that, you know. So that's how the whole story goes. Like that is like, you know, I'm here singing. I know I'm not the best, but it's just too blinding, the perks of having everybody watch you, you know. And,
right, I get that.
And what you do with that when they're watching you is very important. So that's why I try to share my vulnerabilities, my own flaws, and then kind of cradle the listener by saying it's okay because, you know, I'm just like you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It's not always easy to go ahead and do that and lay yourself out there like that.
Yeah, it's true.
So thank you for doing that. It's definitely an inspiration.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead. Let's play Down with the Function right away, since you were talking about that. And you obviously inspired this 13-year-old. And he's actually inspired you as well. I think you both touch each other's worlds.
Right. Now, okay. Now this soundtrack is it's MMM Bop. Okay. Remember that song? Okay, it's like it was a 90s song, right? MMM Bop. It's like a really poppy song. I always loved the music to it. I always loved it. And it was really, I liked the instrumentals, but I hated the way the guys sing on it, and the lyrics were lame. And so what inspired this song, Down with the Function, was, okay, so, you know, as a young bachelor, you know, I'm single and stuff. So a lot of times I got to put up with single mothers' kids, right? I mean, a lot of time these kids are ugly bastards. I'm just being real, okay? Like, okay, you got to,
so ladies, your kids better be beautiful.
Kids can be as beautiful as I was growing up. That's not, you know. I mean, but there are not. I hate when people say all kids are beautiful. Like, no, I'm kind of like George Carlin. Like, some of them are gargoyles, you know. And so, like, Down with the Function is like, okay, I'm gonna bang your mom. You know, and I'm going to eat your fruit snacks after.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
All right. It's all comedy and it's all in good humor. So
you've had 891 plays on this song.
Yeah, a lot of comments too. This is my most popular.
There's 351 comments on this piece. If you guys haven't heard it, make sure you go ahead. Well, you're going to listen to it right now with us, but make sure you go ahead and add it your playlist to listen to it again and again. Right now we have Down with the Function. This is an original by Root Beer 1038, published out January 24th, 2022. Let's go ahead. Let's check this out. In the description, have a laugh and quit your bitching, all you ugly ducks. Have fun with your ma when I was giving her all these fucks. Freestyle original, one take, inspiring artist, trending, new year _ new me, hilarious, explicit, new year, new me, troll patrol. Here we go now with Down with the Function.
Oh yeah. Oh, dumb. Hold your luncheon. Down with the function. Don't cry, torch on my porch, who hears a Horton? Nah, that's just your mama, regretting she never got that abortion. Planned Parenthood excludes first cousins. Kid, it sucks to be you, 'cause you're not even more than you're too ugly for me to be punching. Kids, you look like you got the mumps. Was your mother a pumpkin or just a fat ass bitch pumpkin, a stomach muffin? You're not even on my level, so I pay minimally to hit you in the face with the shovel. Like little Nicky, and after I beat your ass, I wanna give your sister a quickie, let her lick me so I'm not so sticky. Your mama likes to join in when your daddy just pops in, flips the V8 teach your mama something. Down with the function, yeah. I'm down with the function. Yeah, yeah. Kindergarten, your dome was the ashtray. Explains the bald spot, wouldn't you say? God doesn't make mistakes, but we can see what happens when the whole system breaks with one look at you. I'm on patrol. I'm looking for the virgin soul, so I can leave them destitute in the darkness, just like mine is mine and cold. I'm a troll, and I'm on patrol. Ooh yeah, yeah. Everybody look for his Gump's back. Better not step on that crack, or you're gonna break your mama's back. Oh, all these motherfuckers are so dumb. Dumb, dumb, you dumb motherfuckers. Dumb, 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 you stupid motherfucker. Hold your luncheon, I'm down with the function. Hold your luncheon, I'm motherfucking down with the motherfucking function. Let me tell you something. Down with the function.
Down with the function. That was awesome.
That was, I actually recorded that one on Smuley, the karaoke app.
Okay.
And and that the way it sounded was just the way it sounded when I was recording it. And it was just, I just saved it. And the funny thing was my dad was in the room when I was singing it. And then my ex-girlfriend, Tiffany, was in here and shit. And they were talking and you couldn't even hear them in the background because I was just drowning them out making music and shit. And so
that's awesome when that happens.
Right. And then I mean there's a lot of other songs, you know, like I do a lot of ventriloquy, or I mean I like to do like Elmo, Mickey Mouse, Arnold Schwarzenegger, kind of all sorts of stuff. I mean I used to be a lot better at it when I first started recording, but I substituted a lot of it for a proper technique that my dad's been teaching me, and kind of is a two-edged sword with art. Is if you go too abstract, right? You're only gonna have like a select few like gothic kids that like your shit, you know. And if you go too conventional, you're gonna be like Granny Goose, right, or whatever. And it's kind of a fine balance of, you know, trading off. Like I used to be really good at impersonating people's voices and stuff. And I still am, I guess. I'm just not nearly as good as I was when I first started, because that's how I first started. Was a lot of my rants and stuff would be like, it's just all the Schwarzenegger, like, you know, shit like that. Like, you know, or my name is Abu. Welcome to the Quickie Mart. Like
Love the Simpsons.
Mickey Mouse, yeah, like you know, hey Pluto,
nice.
Fuck these guys over here, they're a bunch of pussies. Like, you know, stuff like that, you know, so make them laugh.
Is that how you came up with 13 Years Old Again?
Yeah, no, that one was okay. Now that one I read for, I had you know, those For Dummy books, like Fix a Car for Dummies, right? There was one called Ventriloquist for Dummies, right? And I was reading it, and I got like halfway through the book, and that led me on to reading the footnotes, right? So I went and I found one of these books, these older books that it was referencing of old, well, they're lost arts now, pretty much, but let's take, for example, right now, okay, if we go back 2,000 years in the past, okay, and you take somebody who sang back then, right, and you compare them with the best singer today, they're going to blow them out of the water because they didn't have they didn't have the instrumentations, and they didn't have the equipment to get the said effects. But still, we know, because music is one of the few things in our existence that is meticulously recorded and listened to and enjoyed by a myriad of people, and it brings cultures together, right? Yeah. So in this ventriloquy book, it was going about like the old lost art of playing with your Adam's apple, right?
Okay.
So this song, 13 years old again, is me just ranting about, my girlfriend at the time, I wish she would just shut up, like being really, I was being really, what do you call it? Immature. Now that's on purpose, right? Because the idea was to pinch my Adam's apple and push it up a few inches, the whole song, right? So what it does is it takes your voice back to an earlier age before it dropped. Right. And so that's what that is me practicing that. And so, and then the lyrics too. So, and then, a lot of other things that, like throwing your voice and stuff, was like, I didn't do that.
I do that. I don't have an Adam's apple.
Well, actually, the woman that in the book, it says a woman could sound like a man by lightly pressing their thumb on their larynx. And okay, here's a tip: is a lot of artists will sing with a choke collar. The choke collar presses the larynx, right? So you can actually get into like baritone for a woman, which is very, very unique. And a good example of that would be like Miley Cyrus. She wears a choke for that reason, and even opera singers would use that technique. And so it's applying music theory with the anatomy of your body, and kind of like mimicking a man.
Right. It's using your body to make it all the different types of sounds.
Right, exactly. And that's what it's all about. And so that's what that is.
Well, let's check out 13 Years Old Again. Woo-hoo. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe at Root Beer 1038. You can see this next track we're going to play is called 13 Years Old Again. You can find it on Bandlab, Adam's Apple Trek in the description. Let's go ahead and let's check it out.
Damn, this girl would be perfect if I could just get her to shut up. Damn, this girl sure would be perfect if I could just get her to shut up. And stop. Talking. What a shocking thing, straight daydreaming as I sleepwalk. Damn, this girl would be perfect if I could just get her to stop. Talk. What a shocking thing, straight daydreaming as I sleepwalk. The lights are on, but no one's home. I'm far away, might as well be eating alone. Barely skating on by. Even when we are together, it's like we are alone. Conversation bored me. Please change the subject, the moral of the story. Change the station, you really fucking bored me. Damn, this girl sure would be perfect, but all these stupid words keep forming and escaping from such perfect looking lips. I lick my job, should be mine for the taking. Damn, she should be my confetti to be breaking. Yeah. Damn, this to explore. Does she even want me around anymore? Bills, possessions, valuables, what is she working for? Oh, damn, this girl would be perfect if I could just settle the score. Damn, this girl would be perfect if I could just shut her up. Talking, what a shock. Can't think straight, daydreaming as I sleepwalk. Damn, this girl sure would be perfect if I just could get her to stop. Talk, what a shock. Can't think straight, daydreaming as I walk. Daydreaming as I walk.
Daydreaming as I walk. Very, very cool, Root Beer. Having me go in a couple different directions in that. Very creative.
Yeah.
It sounded like you changed your voice octave on that one. And, you know, you were really like, I really liked that. That was very experimental.
Yeah, it very was. So my girlfriend broke up after she heard it.
Well, do you blame her?
No. But, I mean, you know, it's like sometimes it's like, yeah, you know, sometimes you just don't click with your partner, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm a person who one of my most sought after traits in my partner is conversation. It has to be good conversation. You know, it can't be watered down religious fucking or pseudo science kind of bullshit, you know. It's gotta be it's gotta have substance and it's gotta be somewhat intellectual. So that's what I was going on about that song was I'm tired of hearing about, you know, what Debbie said and whatever fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that's me. And
no, I don't blame you. I'm good
so
there.
I know that it was really immature of me to make a song about that, but so that's why I used the Adam's apple trick to make it work, I guess, to make me sound younger and more immature, like than I actually am.
I really thought it was neat. I really enjoyed that. And I'm going to be playing around a little bit with some of my, like I do play with, you know, the little notches, you know,
Right.
run them up, run them down, you know. But now I'm going to be playing a little bit more. I actually was like tapping different spots the other day. But, you know, now I'm going to have to play more on that.
like a good little trick, a coffee can.
Yeah.
Is a good way to start to hear the infrasonics and the P sound, the P waves that happen in the larynx. Is you just press a coffee can to your larynx and just start vocalizing, talking, stuff like that. A lot of this music that I make is me just trying to figure out my own voice because I have a wide range of my vocal is a lot. It's a much wider range than your typical singer. And that's a two-edged sword because it's a lot harder for me to get control over it. And, you know, just a little bit of stressing on my vocals and it changes the pitch a lot, you know? So, and that my dad helps me out with music theory a lot. So, and,
That's awesome.
Sometimes it's just about repetition, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Consistency
is very important, and that's what I should work a lot more on consistency, but I'm too busy trying to make an impression and get people thinking in their heads and stuff about what's possible with music is music should not be a tool to propagate yourself as the best and stuff. That really bothers me. How a lot of artists just a lot of them. I mean, a lot of them today are just like they think that there is the best. And I get diss rapping and rapping. I used to do battle raps and stuff when I first started. I was really good at it, but to me, the person that loses never admits that they lost. Right. And I say that in one of my lyrics, my poems I wrote was, you know, the MCs say the same shit they said on their last shit that they spit, like bones piled up in a living pit, never really getting over any of it. Their attitudes are bad, but their music's bad, but their attitudes are toxic,
Right.
So it's not about putting others down. Like in that song just that we heard, I wasn't putting her down. I was just saying, like, we're not clicking on the conversation level. Like, I feel like I have to be an asshole and say, just shut up. Like, I don't want to hear it. Like, yeah.
I think we've all gone through that.
Right.
Rupert, I have to ask you one final question before we wrap up this interview. If there was something that you would go ahead and you would say to your 13-year-old self, what would it be to inspire you to continue to go and be you and not worry about what anybody else has to say, be consistent and that motivation and that drive going?
I guess I would say don't be so compulsive, I guess. It took me a long time to get used to the fact that it could always get worse, and that really, when I get upset, it's not them making me upset, it's me giving the power to them. So I would say to my older self, I would say, smile and turn the other cheek. I mean, not as in like a religious kind of like, oh, I'm going to get rewarded by doing this.
Right.
Having them not dictate what you are, who you and what you can be is the greatest gift of all. And I think that's why the Bible uses that, that phrase is turn the other cheek, is because it's like imagine slapping somebody and then instead of them getting the reaction you want, they give you the other cheek, and that is like, powerful. So I would say that I would say read Xenos at an early age and get with the Stoic program and don't accept other people's bullshit. Like I'm not responsible for the way you feel, and you're not responsible for the way I feel. And that doesn't mean we can't be courteous to each other.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I thank you so much. This has been a great interview. We're going to go ahead. We're going to close out the interview now. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Rupert?
Practice your skills till you drop.
That's my dad.
And he's 100% right.
All right. Okay. Yeah, no, there's not much else I would rather add than this was just a brief, taste of the tip of the iceberg. There are a lot of songs I've done that are experimental. It's just most of them, the title will say it all. I have an album where it's just ad libs and just vocals, where I just talk or do funny stuff. Check out my album. Welcome to the House of Laughs. That's all my funny songs. I got like a song called Fat Bitch on a Trampoline, pretty good one. And some other stuff like Chinese transgender. I wouldn't want
to be the Springs.
And check this out. And there's another one called Chinese Transgender Midget, and the transgender, I got invited to a podcast hosted by a trans on BandLab, one of my most favorite artists too. And they loved it and thought it was funny, and that they told me it's so true that it's all political correct, and it's like it's more alienating to them being, I want to be classified as this, China, that, and that, and like I can't say trans. I'm like, no, it's that.
And they're all labels.
They're all pronouns. I mean, the pronouns and the one thing I don't really quite understand is pansexuals. Like, does that mean that they could get in with artificial intelligence? Or I don't understand because there's only two genders,
I don't know. I thought they were just good cooks.
Yeah, right. But I mean, it's to each his own. You know, let bygones be bygones. That's what a good saying. So that and check me out. And if you're feeling generous, any help that you can give me on BandLab, it will be. You'll hear it, the improvement in my drive and my music. So it won't go unappreciated. So that's about it.
We're going ahead. We have Root Beer 1038 at Root Beer 1038. They're on BandLab, SoundCloud.com /soda-pop -8 42697835. Guys, all remember to share the love. Yes, share it out. Takes 2 seconds a day to make those heartbeats. We're closing up the show. I thank you everyone for joining us on Angified Presents. Have a great day.
I love you, oh loves. Do you have thoughts? Do you wanna share them with me? I love you, oh loves. Oh, do you have thoughts? I'd like to share mine with you. Can we share? Are you gonna spread love or hate? Are you gonna spread